Welcome to Final Curtain. I'm Donald. Today, we gather to remember iconic figures whose journeys have reached their final chapter. Their talent, dedication, and influence shaped generations and touched millions worldwide. Join us as we honor their remarkable contributions across film, music, and culture, celebrating lives that will forever be remembered and continue inspiring future generations. Doris Roberts passed away at the age of 90, leaving behind a career that spanned more than 7 decades across stage, film, and television. Known for her strong presence and natural comedic timing, she became one of the most recognizable and respected character actresses in American entertainment. Marie Barone and television success. She was widely loved for her role as Marie Barone on the CBS sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond. Her portrayal of the outspoken yet deeply caring mother became one of the show's defining elements. The performance earned her 4 Emmy Awards and widespread praise for balancing sharp humor with genuine emotional depth, making the character both funny and relatable. Legacy of warmth and craft. Beyond her most famous role, Roberts brought consistency, humanity, and skill to every performance she delivered throughout her career. She had a unique ability to make even small moments memorable, blending comedy with sincerity. Doris Roberts is remembered not only for her achievements and awards, but for the warmth she brought to audiences and the lasting comfort her performances continue to provide. Gmoon, the American composer known for shaping the sound of several beloved animated series, passed away at the age of 63. Born on February 7, 1962 in Madison, Wisconsin, he developed an early passion for music that eventually led him into the world of composition for film and television. After studying at the University of Arizona, he began building a career focused on storytelling through sound, where his work quickly stood out for its energy, creativity, and emotional timing. Musical legacy and animation Gmoon became especially well known for his contributions to iconic animated shows such as The Fairly OddParents, Danny Phantom, Cow and Chicken, and Johnny Test. His compositions were playful, expressive, and carefully matched to the tone of each scene, helping elevate humor, emotion, and action in ways that became inseparable from the viewing experience. For many audiences, his music became a defining part of childhood entertainment. Over his career, he earned industry recognition, including a nomination for a Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Award for Outstanding Original Music and Lyrics. Beyond his professional achievements, he is remembered for the joy and imagination his work brought to generations of viewers, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate through the shows he helped bring to life. Jim McBride, who passed away at the age of 78, is remembered as one of country music's most respected and influential songwriters. Known for his heartfelt lyrics and honest storytelling, he helped shape the sound of modern country music through songs that felt deeply personal yet widely relatable. From Alabama roots to Nashville success. Born in Huntsville, Alabama, McBride discovered his passion for music early in life, eventually making his way to Nashville, where his songwriting career took shape. His work captured everyday experiences with warmth and simplicity, helping listeners connect to the emotions behind each story. Iconic songs and legendary collaborations. McBride is best known for his collaborations with Alan Jackson, including classics like Chattahoochee and Chasing That Neon Rainbow. His songs were also recorded by major artists such as Reba McEntire, Johnny Cash, George Jones, Willie Nelson, Charlie Pride, Randy Travis, and Toby Keith, reflecting his wide-reaching influence across generations of country music. Advocacy and lasting legacy beyond songwriting, he served as president of the Nashville Songwriters Association International, where he advocated for the rights and recognition of fellow writers. His contributions earned him induction into both the Alabama Music Hall of Fame and the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. Jim McBride's legacy continues through music that speaks with honesty, heart, and timeless emotional depth. June Pointer, born on November 30, 1953, was a key member of the legendary group The Pointer Sisters, whose music helped define pop R&B and dance sounds of the 1970s and 1980s. As part of a close-knit family group, she contributed to a sound that was full of energy, harmony, and joy. Her voice helped shape an era where music brought people together on dance floors, in cars, and across radio waves. Songs that still move generations with hits like Fire, He's So Shy, Jump, For My Love, and I'm So Excited. The Pointer Sisters created songs that remain timeless. June's vocal presence added warmth and excitement that made these tracks unforgettable. These songs were more than chart successes. They captured a feeling of freedom and celebration that still resonates with listeners today. A lasting musical legacy. Behind the fame was a life shaped by the pressures of the music industry and constant public attention. When June Pointer passed away at the age of 52, it marked the closing of an important chapter in music history. Yet her voice continues to live on, reminding fans of an era filled with rhythm, joy, and unforgettable performances that still inspire today. Ruth Buzzy, born on July 24, 1936, was a cherished figure in American television comedy. Known for her expressive acting, warm presence, and perfect comedic timing, she became widely recognized for her work on the sketch show Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, where she created many memorable characters. One of her most famous roles was Gladys Ormsby, a strict yet humorous character whose exaggerated reactions brought laughter to millions. A versatile and warm performer, beyond sketch comedy, Buzzy also made meaningful contributions to children's television, including appearances on Sesame Street. In these roles, she showed a gentle, caring side that helped her connect with younger audiences. Her ability to shift between comedy and kindness made her performances feel genuine and relatable, earning her respect across generations of viewers and fellow performers. A lasting impact. Ruth Buzzy passed away at the age of 88, leaving behind a rich legacy of laughter and warmth. Her work continues to be remembered for its honesty, charm, and timeless humor. She is celebrated, not only for making people laugh, but also for bringing a sense of comfort and joy that continues to inspire audiences today. This is the story of a woman who rose from extreme hardship to global influence, transforming pain into purpose and visibility into power. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, she grew up in instability, neglect, and experiences of abuse that shaped her early understanding of fear, shame, and survival. Yet her life did not end where it was expected to. Instead, it evolved into one of the most remarkable journeys in modern media history. Through education, determination, and an extraordinary ability to connect with people through her voice, she built a career that reshaped television and inspired millions. Behind the fame, awards, and cultural impact, however, lies a deeply human story of loneliness, healing, and resilience. This is not just a story of success, but of endurance, of how a life marked by trauma can still become a force that influences the world. Early life in poverty and instability. She was born in the American South during a time when poverty and racial inequality shaped nearly every aspect of life. Her early childhood was defined by scarcity, limited access to comfort, stability, or even basic security. Raised primarily by her grandmother in rural conditions, she experienced both discipline and early encouragement toward learning. Despite wearing makeshift clothing and living in a household with very little, she was introduced to reading at a young age, which became her first escape from hardship. Books offered her a sense of imagination and safety that her environment could not. However, her early sense of stability did not last. As she moved between caregivers and cities, her environment became increasingly unstable. Each transition added emotional strain, reinforcing feelings of displacement and uncertainty. Yet even in these early years, she showed signs of intelligence, curiosity, and emotional depth that would later define her public voice and career. Childhood trauma and emotional scars. During her early teenage years, she experienced traumatic events that deeply affected her emotional development. These experiences were marked by fear, confusion, and silence, leaving her without the support or protection a child should have had. For a long time, she internalized blame, believing the pain she endured was somehow her fault. This emotional burden shaped her self-image and created long-lasting psychological scars. The absence of consistent emotional safety made it difficult for her to trust others or feel secure in her environment. School became one of the few places where she could temporarily detach from her personal struggles, and academic achievement became both a refuge and a form of identity. Despite her internal suffering, she excelled in communication and expression. These skills would later become the foundation of her career, but at the time, they were simply survival tools that helped her navigate an unstable and painful adolescence. teenage motherhood and loss. By her mid-teens, her life took a turn that intensified her emotional struggle. She became pregnant as a teenager, a circumstance that added layers of fear, shame, and uncertainty to an already difficult life. The pregnancy was the result of earlier trauma, and she faced it largely in isolation, without the emotional support needed to process such an overwhelming experience. Eventually, she gave birth prematurely, but the child survived only a short time. The loss left a profound emotional impact, reinforcing feelings of guilt and grief that she struggled to understand at such a young age. She interpreted the event through the limited emotional framework available to her at the time, often internalizing responsibility for circumstances beyond her control. This period marked one of the darkest emotional chapters of her early life, yet it also became a turning point, one that forced her toward change, structure, and eventually a more stable environment under her father's guidance. Discipline, structure, and academic transformation. After moving to live with her father, she entered a more structured environment that contrasted sharply with her earlier instability. Her father emphasized discipline, education, and accountability, creating a household where expectations were clear and consistent. Although the adjustment was difficult, this structure provided something she had rarely experienced before: stability. Over time, she began to channel her emotions into productive outlets, such as reading, writing, and public speaking. Teachers recognized her exceptional communication skills and encouraged her participation in debate and performance activities. These opportunities allowed her to transform personal pain into expressive strength. For the first time, she began to see her voice not just as a means of survival, but as a tool of influence. Slowly, her confidence grew, and she developed a sense of direction. This phase of her life marked the beginning of her transition from a struggling teenager into a young woman discovering her potential. First steps into media and public recognition. Her entry into media began unexpectedly through a local speaking competition that highlighted her natural ability to connect with audiences. Her performance stood out, earning her recognition and opening the door to early opportunities in broadcasting. She was offered work at a local radio station where she read news and developed her on-air presence. This experience marked a turning point as she discovered a professional environment where her voice carried authority and impact. Soon after, she pursued higher education while continuing to work in media-related roles. Unlike many of her peers, she balanced academic responsibilities with professional broadcasting experience, gaining skills far beyond her age. Her presence on air reflected authenticity and emotional intelligence, qualities that made her stand out in a competitive industry. These early experiences laid the foundation for what would become a groundbreaking career in television and communication. Rise in television and national recognition. Her transition from radio to television marked the beginning of national recognition. She quickly distinguished herself as a communicator capable of blending empathy with strong interviewing skills. Her authenticity resonated with audiences, and her ability to listen deeply set her apart in an industry often focused on performance rather than connection. Over time, her programs grew in popularity, eventually becoming a cultural phenomenon that dominated daytime television for decades. Her show became a platform for emotional storytelling, personal transformation, and public dialogue on sensitive topics. Through this format, she redefined what television could be, shifting it from entertainment alone to a space for shared human experience. Her influence expanded beyond media into publishing, philanthropy, and cultural leadership. As her visibility increased, so did public expectations, placing her at the center of national and global conversations about media, identity, and influence, wealth, influence, and public responsibility. As her career expanded, she became one of the most influential figures in media and one of the wealthiest self-made women in the world. Her recommendations shaped book sales, her interviews influenced public opinion, and her platform elevated countless voices. She also developed a strong philanthropic presence, contributing to education initiatives, disaster relief efforts, and programs supporting underserved communities. Despite this success, public scrutiny remained constant. Some praised her generosity, while others questioned whether wealth at such scale could ever align with social responsibility. She often responded by emphasizing her personal journey from poverty to prosperity and her commitment to giving opportunities to others. Her financial success became both a symbol of achievement and a subject of debate. Behind the public image, however, remained a complex relationship with success, one shaped by gratitude, responsibility, and the emotional weight of her past. Loneliness behind success. Despite fame and wealth, she often experienced profound personal loneliness. The demands of maintaining a global media empire left limited space for private relationships or emotional rest. While surrounded by admiration and recognition, she sometimes described a sense of emotional distance that came with constant visibility. Long-term relationships in her life remained deeply personal but unconventional, shaped by mutual understanding rather than traditional expectations. Even with close friendships and professional partnerships, she often reflected on the challenge of being fully known by others. The contrast between public perception and private reality created an emotional tension that persisted throughout her career. Success brought freedom, but also isolation from ordinary experiences. In quieter moments, she reportedly reflected on whether the sacrifices required for her level of achievement had come at the cost of deeper personal fulfillment. Legacy of resilience and cultural impact. Her legacy is defined not only by her success in media, but by her ability to transform personal adversity into cultural influence. She changed the landscape of television, making space for vulnerability, storytelling, and emotional honesty in mainstream media. Her impact extended into literature, education, and philanthropy, where she supported initiatives aimed at empowering underserved communities. She became a symbol of resilience, particularly for those who saw aspects of their own struggles reflected in her journey. Her life story is often cited as an example of how adversity can be transformed into purpose when combined with opportunity and determination. However, her legacy is not without complexity. It includes both extraordinary achievement and the enduring emotional cost of a life lived in the public eye. She remains a figure of both inspiration and reflection, representing the duality of success and sacrifice. Conclusion: the cost of becoming a legend. Her story ultimately reveals the complex reality behind extraordinary success. It is not simply a narrative of achievement, but a reflection of endurance through hardship, emotional healing, and the pursuit of purpose despite early trauma. She built a global platform that reshaped media and influenced millions. Yet her journey also highlights the personal costs that often accompany public greatness. Fame did not erase her past, nor did wealth eliminate emotional struggle. Instead, her life demonstrates that healing is not always linear, and success does not always bring closure. What she created stands as a testament to resilience, but also as a reminder of the hidden emotional landscapes behind public figures. In the end, her story is not only about what she achieved, but about what she survived, and how she transformed survival into a legacy that continues to resonate across generations.